and YouTubers and just you guys. Welcome today to my long-awaited Doctor Who Series 8 ranking. Now, I apologise for the delay. The previous recording of this video wouldn't work on my laptop when I imported it into Movie Maker, so apologies about that. I tried to sort it out, but because I recorded it on my iPod, so I'm going to now have to just record things on the phone. Hopefully this will work. I don't want to use the webcam on my laptop. Anyway, so let's just kick off. Just to say, the list is subjective, not objective, so you know what that means, and you know me. I will respect your opinion if you respect mine. So, now there are 11 slots, because I'm ranking the finale as 1, so, yeah. Number 11. Now, this one is probably the worst for a lot of people. I mean, you know, right? There's no shame in saying it. I mean, In the Forest of the Night. Now, In the Forest of the Night, you know, I thought there were good aspects to the episode. I just thought it was the worst. Purely because, you know, the plot was just... I mean, I don't have a problem with it being, you know, kind of an environmentally friendly kind of plot, but it was very forgettable. And the whole kind of solar flare thing, it didn't really add much tension to the story, which was a shame, really. It was kind of dull and boring. There wasn't much excitement in the episode. Even the tiger scene was kind of underwhelming. I was like, oh, that's it. And, oh my god, the ending was so stupid. The way that Annabelle was just revealed at the end. I mean, you know, she was right near the house. The bush near the house. Why didn't she, you know, wait by the house or knock on the door and say, hey, I'm home? What? Just... what? That really annoyed me. There are obviously good aspects to the episode. Obviously, Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, they were great, and Samuel Anderson was also good as Danny. I found the story intriguing, but I didn't really, you know, it lost its way, and I was just like, I was getting bored, and it was like, come on. The music was good. I like Maeve. Maeve's an interesting character, how she's experiencing all the trauma, although when she created the forest, she was like, oh, all that stuff was quite interesting, but basically the reason why it's at the bottom is because it was the least interesting of all of the stories in Series 8. I don't hate it, I don't think it's terrible, but I just feel that it's very underwhelming, disappointing, not in a hurry to rush back to it, just not very good. And the kids, they're annoying. Oh, sorry, got my list. Okay. Yeah, like, one of those kids, Ruby, was just so annoying. She's like, oh, aren't you two you're supposed to be madly in love with him? You know, and, you know, one boy was going on about his anger management. I was like, just don't, please. We don't need this. That's my one issue with Series 8, is that they kind of overuse the child actors. Like, we don't need to show so much of the school. We don't need to show Courtney. We don't need to show these kids as well. Why? You know. Anyway, gonna move on. Number 10. Now, number 10 is another disappointing one. I don't particularly like this one. I mean, I watched it once, then I watched it again when I got it on DVD. Yeah, it's Time Heist. Okay, Time Heist. Time Heist is not, again, not a terrible episode, but the plot, when I watched the trailer, the next time trailer after Listen, I thought, wow, this might be quite exciting, but I was disappointed. This episode was not very good at all. Granted, it has a good plot. I like the idea of the plot. I mean, of like this, a bank heist, you know, they have to rob a bank. And the return of the memory ones are quite good, but for me, the pacing was, it was really dragging itself along for 45 minutes. You know, I mean, come on, you know, it could have been a lot quicker. I didn't think the villainess was particularly good either. You know, Delphox, she wasn't that good. obviously the acting was very good. I think the two side characters, whilst they weren't brilliant, I thought they were good enough, they were likeable enough, so that's a plus. The teller, the concept of the teller is pretty awesome, how it kind of destroys you when you think of a certain thought. That was quite cool. But they kind of copped out. Well, not copped out. It was kind of underwhelming at the end when it was just kind of like the Hyde ending. It was like, you know, the two tellers at the end. I was like, oh, well, that kind of took it out. By that point, I was kind of not interested in the episode anymore anyway. Yeah, there was not much excitement in the episode. It should have been more exciting. Although Sai's death was quite intense. That was quite good. Production values are great. It feels very cinematic. I think the sets are all done really well. But yeah, you know, I think the music is just a bit repetitive. Sadly, I don't know what else to say. There's not much to say about this. It's not really one that I'm going to rush back to. I like Simon and Saber, but yeah, it's not really anything that I would ever consider rewatching, unless I was watching the entire series, which I had to do for this ranking. Okay, now number 9 is actually going to surprise a lot of people because it is actually episode 9, Flatline. Yeah, Flatline. Right, now let me just get this out there. I don't hate the episode, but I find this to be overrated. There are good aspects to it, but for me, it was just boring, dull. I couldn't get into it. I like the concept of the things in the walls, and the CGI is probably some of the best I've ever seen. With when the creatures came out of the walls, they showed the sort of the fuzziness, the attention to detail in the CGI was great, but wasn't enough. Good music. Like I said, I like the concept, and PC Forest's death was quite intense, but Rigsby was a pointless character. The Doctor, I mean, I like the idea of the tiny TARDIS, that was quite funny, but Capaldi's speech at the end, whilst good, bit abrupt. Clara's good too, but there's not much to say. It's just it's draggy, it's long, it's forgettable. It's just forgettable, really. I don't know what else to say. Granted, I don't think it's the worst in the series. I mean, simply because it has a better concept. Then I mean, the writing's good. I'll say this, I like the writing. I think it's solidly written by Jamie Matheson. So, for that reason, it's above the other two. But yeah, no. Not particularly great. Okay, number 8. Number 8 is the fantabulous romp that is Robot of Sherwood. So yeah, Robot of Sherwood is the Robin Hood episode. I quite liked it. I thought it was average, it wasn't anything special. I mean, the story, it's not really plot driven. I agree with Labyrinth 35. The plot isn't really what's driving it. I think it's more driven by the fact that it's a fun romp. And, for the most part, it is fun. I mean, there are certain isolated moments which really work. The spoon fight is just hilarious. I love that. It's a great sort of beginning to the tension between the Doctor and Robin. Ben Miller is the sheriff, whilst he didn't really get much to do. I thought he was good. I thought he fit the role really well. I thought the scene between him and Clara, though, went on for way too long. And it got too flirtatious. The robots were cool, but they didn't really do much. They're not. Well, no, okay. The robots were good, but I don't see them ever returning. I don't think they'll ever come back. I think they were good for what they did, but that was that. I think they're fine as they are. I think the bad outweighs the good. I think there's too much arguing between the Doctor and Robin. Like in the prison cell, it got to the point where I was like, oh, come on, why can't you guys just get along? I know Capaldi was still finding his feet, but it was a little annoying. It was kind of like, ugh. I don't blame Clara for telling them to both shut up. Ugh. But yeah, the Merry Men were underused. It would have been nice to have, and during the climax, have the Merry Men join as well and fight some of the robots. That would have been cool. I would have liked that, but oh well. The story's just not really that compelling. I don't think the story is very good. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's good. It's a meh story. You know, it's not like anything to rant about, but you can watch it and be like, yeah, it's fun. And you know, the way the story is resolved, you know, with the arrow shot, and how does the arrow send a ship into orbit? I find the logistics of that really questionable. Gatiss. Not Gattis's best story, I'll say that much. And the reveal of Marion at the... What is it with this series, and the reveals of characters at the end, you know, I mean, we have, you know, in the Forest of the Night, you have Annabelle's reveal at the end of that, which is just so... just crap. And in this, you know, much the same with Marion's reveal at the end. She was standing behind the TARDIS the whole time. You know, just terrible. But no, the actor that plays Robin is good. I can't remember his name, but yeah. As I said, not terrible, but it has some good moments. But I never rush back to it. Okay, number 7 is the finale to Series 8. It is Dark Water / Death in Heaven. Okay, now this story is an interesting one, because obviously causing a lot of controversy. I think the whole concept of the story really works well, like the whole, you know, the Neversphere and then the Cybermen coming back. I like the idea that the water kind of acts as like a mask to, you know, well, actually no, acts as like a kind of see-through, like a transparency to the skeletons of the Cybermen, of the people inside the Cybermen, which I thought was really cool. I think Dark Water definitely outweighs Death in Heaven. There's some nice comedy, like when he's like, Capaldi's like, I'll hit if you don't hurry up, I'll hit you with my shirk. I quite like that. Danny's war flashbacks. I think Danny gives a great performance throughout these 2 episodes. I think he really gives a much more emotional performance. Samuel Anderson is probably at his best. I mean, shock opening, you know, when Danny dies, which I didn't expect, which worked really well. There was a lot of suspense throughout Dark Water. I thought Dark Water was definitely the best of the 2. The Master. Now, I don't really like the idea of the Master being a woman. Don't make me out to be a sexist. It's just tradition. You know, there's a difference. Time Lords and Time Ladies. Why would Moffat suddenly mix the gender and say, oh, wasn't it established in the classic series that, you know, Time Lords could only regenerate, you know, into males, like in Time Ladies or female, you know, it makes sense that way. This feels a bit weird. I don't really see her as the Master. I just see her as Missy. And she's back for Series 9, so what-de-do? Ugh. Granted, Michelle Gomez was really good. I think Death in Heaven has some good moments. I don't like the fact that the Cybermen can fly. I don't think that was ever done before. It's some good moments. Like the scenes on the plane were quite intense when Kate was thrown out of the plane. Kate Stewart and Osgood returning. Not particularly necessary, but okay, they were fine. The music was great. Like Murray Gold's music was fantastic. I love that the 12th Doctor finally realises who he is, and he's like, I'm not a bad man. I'm not a good man. I'm just an idiot with a box. That's just great. You know, he finally realises that, you know, because this whole series is about really the journey of the 12th Doctor, trying to discover who he is, because, you know, he's just regenerated, you know, in the time of the Doctor. So, yeah, things I didn't like. At the start of Death in Heaven, Clara pretends to be the Doctor. That really annoyed me, and with the title sequence as well. I mean, I'm sorry, but that really annoyed me. I thought Moffat really screwed us over. Well, yeah. Why does the Doctor have to be the president of the Earth? What does that achieve? I mean, yeah, he gets a bit more sort of authority, like world authority, but does it really stop the Cybermen? No, the Doctor doesn't need to be the president to stop the Cybermen. He can stop the Cybermen on his own. He doesn't have to have all the power in the world. He's good at taking control on his own. He doesn't need to be the president, you know. And you know, other scenes like the Doctor and the Master kissing, that was like, what? Ugh, just weird. Ugh. Ugh. I thought Death in Heaven was too long at the end. I mean, we didn't need to be an hour. It could have just been 45 minutes, and it would have been fine. The scene when the Doctor falls into the TARDIS, it came across as a little bit cheesy to me. I don't know why. I'm sorry, but I didn't really like that. There's a nice little nod to Brigadier in the Cybermen. I know some people are going to be pissed about that, but it's only for 2 seconds. You know, just a nice little nod. You know, it's a salute to Brigadier. You know, Murray Gold again has some great music. The cafe scene at the end really is, to me, felt like the natural conclusion of Clara, because I felt that, you know, that was where it started with her, and you know, when Matt Smith was there, you know, they started their adventures because they went to the cafe in the Bells of St. John, so it kind of started there, and then from there on, I thought this scene at the cafe kind of mirrored that, in the sense that we're now at the end. So it's a shame that, you know, Clara stayed for the Christmas special and for Series 9. Anyway, but yeah, that's really it. I think it's a mixed bag, to be honest. I mean, it's a good story, but some problems kind of drag it down to number 7. It's a good finale, but it's not a great finale, I don't think. Okay, number 6 is actually, I mean, I used to consider this quite a fantastic episode, but watching it back, I'm realising maybe it wasn't as good as I thought, and it is Mummy on the Orient Express. Now, this episode is quite good. I mean, it's not brilliant, but I think it's a really good story. It has some great things. I love the darker tone. The biggest problem, though, is that it kind of negates the ending of Kill the Moon, you know, with the whole argument. You know, I mean, the whole last hurrah thing, it never really... I know you got to show Clara's addiction to time travel, and, you know, that's an interesting arc, but for me, just, you know... I found the episode a little bit slow starting out. It took a while to get going. I mean, granted, the opening was great, but then when the Doctor and Clara got on the train, there was a bit of time, there was a bit of padding. I thought it could have moved a bit quicker. Production values are great. I think the sets are really good, and Peter Capaldi gives a great performance. Love the concept of the mummy, that you only have 66 seconds to live once it targets you. Ooh. But yeah, no, that's quite good. It's just a great sort of murder plot, and I like it. I think it works really well. There's a nice reference to The Empty Child, you know, when he's like, "Are you my mummy?" I like that. Too many characters, too many that it knows how to deal with. I think Clara is kind of pointlessly tacked on as well, but you know, I think we could have had one break from Clara, but oh well. Jenna Coleman gives a great performance nonetheless. It's a fun episode. I think it's a really fun episode. It goes on a bit. It's a little bit too long, but I don't mind it too much. It's more the pacing that I'm concerned about. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that. Number 5. The Caretaker. The Caretaker is great. I love The Caretaker. I think it's a great story. It's a bit of an unorthodox episode. It's more character-driven than plot-driven, or, you know, there's not as much excitement until the end. The Skorvax Blitzer was pretty rubbish. I mean, it didn't do anything, but it looked cool, but it was just a cheap, tacky kind of, you know, robot. It reminded me of the Gadget thing, but just a better version of that. You know, there's some nice moments between the Doctor, Clara, and Danny. That scene in the hall was really tense. There's a nice sort of paternal gesture when the Doctor is like, he's like saying, is he your boyfriend? That scene in the TARDIS when she's like, oh, you're okay with it? Almost like her father. He's sort of, gives his approval of Clara's boyfriend without actually knowing that it's only because the guy that he thinks she's going out with looks like his previous self, Matt Smith. But yeah, there's some really nice comedy with Capaldi. I think he works really well. He's like, oh, you're a PE teacher. That's great. Why was Courtney in the episode? What did really she do? She was just kind of tacked on. It was really no point for Courtney to be in the episode, so get rid of Courtney. Granted, it's worse than Kill the Moon. The shot they had at the beginning was a little bit graphic, to be honest. But yeah, no, the episode is a lot of fun. I like the fact that Clara is trying desperately to lie. The opening montage is really good, showing the stress of Clara, how she's trying to balance between her two different lives. The teacher life and then spending time with Danny, and then time with the Doctor. Sorry, spending time with the Doctor, not the episode time with the Doctor. Sorry, but yeah, no, it's a really good episode, but it's not my favourite purely because there's not as much excitement with the Scorvax Splitter. I don't think the Scorvax Splitter was in the episode enough to really make me want to rank this episode any higher. But it's number 5. It's roughly in the middle, or just over the middle. So yeah, number 4. Now getting into the top 4. Now some people are going to hate me for this, but deal with it. It's my opinion. Sorry, I'm going to have to be blunt about it. Number 4. Listen. I really like Listen. I think Listen is a great episode. I love the fact that it's the first time we actually see the 12th Doctor who properly scared out of his mind. He is literally scared as shit. He really is. I mean, he's questioning whether he's alone or whether we're alone. His theories are interesting. I mean, the episode is scary in a few places. I mean, that scene with the thing under the covers, under the blanket, sorry, is quite tense. I quite like that. And he's like, fear is a superpower. When he's saying to Rupert, young Danny, which is interesting. This is really the episode when we really get to know Danny. I mean, I think Danny's character development was really good. Like with the whole Rupert thing, and when he's like, "Oh, Dan the Soldier Man," that was all good. The pacing is actually really brisk. I think it moves really quickly, unlike some of the other episodes in this series when they do drag a little bit. The end of the universe scenes are really quite good, and that Barnes scene. Some people are going to hate it. I like it. I think it's nice. I mean, it's actually Clara who brings the Doctor out of that state of fear that he has, because she says, if you can, her speech at the end, she's like, if you're going to listen to anything, listen to this. It is really good. I like the Clara and Danny relationship, but I feel that the date scenes were focused on a bit too much. I don't think we need that many date scenes. I liked Orson though. Orson was good. He wasn't used very much, so he could have been in it more. If he returns for Series 9, that'll be interesting. I don't think he will though. The episode's a bit too long. I don't think it needed to be 48 minutes. I think that was the that was the length it was the last time I checked. And of course the acting is great. Peter Capaldi, Jenna Coleman, and Sammy Anderson. They're all great. And the writing by Moffat, it's okay, I guess. I mean, not his best, but not his worst. It's not like Blink. It's not going to, revolutionise, Doctor Who or anything. Or it's not going to scare your pants off. It might do for the younger viewers, but I thought, okay, there's some interesting, scary moments, but didn't maintain that tension throughout. It's at number 4 because I like the ideas, behind the plot. That the main antagonist is actually fear itself. The Doctor is questioning whether he's alone, and it's actually about the Doctor's fear, and I really like the way that the episode explores that. Now, the top 3. Okay, so number 3 is a really good one. Is the one that started it all. I've grown to love this quite a lot on my last viewing. It is Deep Breath. Okay, I really like Deep Breath. I think it's a great opening to Series 8, a great introduction to Capaldi. Love the story, love the cast. You know, I love the idea of the half-faced man and the clockwork droids. A nice reference to the girl in the fireplace as well. That was a nice little nod. I love that episode. My favourite from Series 2. Some really nice comedy, like when Strax throws the newspaper at Clara. That was hilarious. I'm sure a lot of Clara haters were probably pleased with that. Some people don't like the Matt Smith cameo. I actually quite like it. It ties up loose ends with Time of the Doctor. It gives Clara that motivation to carry on and you know, help the 12th Doctor. Yeah, so that's always good. I like the fact that the Paternoster gang come back. It's nice to see more of them. My only criticisms really with that the episode was too long. It didn't need to be 1 hour 20 minutes. I think 1 hour would have sufficed. It got a bit, you know, it was lagging a little bit towards the end. I was like, okay, come on, just, you know, wrap it up now. And the kiss scene between Vastra and Jenny, whilst I don't hate it, I just think it's weird. Like, the timing of it is weird. Like, you know, she's like, I have oxygen, share with me. What? Okay, fair enough. That was a bit weird, but yeah, no, the music is, again, great. I love Capaldi's performance. The dinosaur, okay, the dinosaur didn't do much. The CGI could have been a little bit stronger. Knowing that Doctor Who have done CGI better in the past. It's at number 3, because I think there are 2 other episodes that really sell it for me. Number 2 is episode 2, Into the Dalek. Yeah, so, Into the Dalek. Now, I know Labyrinth 35 isn't a great supporter of this episode, but I know Mr. Osborne loves it. I love this episode. I think it's great. It's definitely a better Dalek story than Asylum of the Daleks. I know the Daleks are in Time of the Doctor, but, you know, it's nice to see them here. I mean, I was a bit worried because it was very, very early in Capaldi's era to introduce the Daleks. I mean, I thought it was early for Matt Smith to have the Daleks at the beginning of his first series, you know, in his 3rd episode, you know, but no, that, I mean, we hadn't seen the Daleks then for a while. This is a much stronger episode, and it works really well. It's dark, it's intense. Capaldi is brilliant. I love that scene when you know, the Doctor and Clara are coming, and it's like, oh, this is Clara. She's not my assistant. She's not my companion. My mate. Like, I'm his carer. Yeah, she cares, so I don't have to. Brilliant. And at the beginning as well, you know, when he's like, oh, Clara, be my pal and tell me, am I a good man? I love the fact that the Doctor, he really doesn't know who he is, and at the start of the series, he's even though he's regenerated, he doesn't know who he is. It's an interesting fact that they explore that, and Clara herself doesn't know. She's like, I don't know. The introduction to Danny Pink is nice. I mean, he's not in it much, but it's still nice to see him in the episode for the brief scenes he's in. I think this definitely offers a lot of epic scope, this story, and the fact that they actually go into the Dalek kind of reminds me of the plot of Fantastic Voyage, when they are scaled down to microscopic size to go inside a person. In this case, they go inside a Dalek and try to emit the radiation blockage, which is really interesting. It's a simple plot, but it works really well. I loved seeing the Dalek antibodies as well. They were pretty cool. Johnny Blue, whilst, you know, don't think she was a brilliant character. I thought that her story, her backstory was quite good. How she lost her brother, and that was nice. Some nice flashbacks to Series 4. Yay! of the finale of Series 4. It is an intense episode, and, you know, I don't think the Misty scene at the end really was appropriate. I mean, it was kind of just tacked on, really. They should have just kept the mystery going. You know, don't need to show her in, like, every episode. Some of the supporting characters were just there. Didn't really do much. But hey-ho. And of course, Murray Gold's soundtrack is, again, really good. I love it when the Doctor's just really cold. He's like, "Dial your leg, not my problem." You know. And he's like, "There's no such thing as a good Dalek," you know. But yeah, no. It would have been #1 had another episode not blown it completely out of the water. And you know what it is. #1, my favourite episode of Series 8, Kill the Moon. Kill the Moon is great. Wow. Kill the Moon has everything. It is the pure Capaldi episode. I don't think any other Doctor could have appeared in the episode. This is, you know, pure Capaldi, and Capaldi's great. This is probably the best writing from the series, I think. I can't remember actually who wrote this, but whoever did, they did a great job. It feels very cinematic, and I like the fact that it's kind of, you know, it's obviously on the moon, and the spiders were really cool. The fact, you know, well, the bacteria spiders, they looked really cool. They looked really freaky and giving a lot of suspense to the episode. I really like that. Great CGI. I love the fact that there's a moral dilemma at the end. You know, the whole it's the Earth or the moon, and the idea that the moon's an egg kind of humoured me a little bit. There is tension between the Doctor and Clara, and yeah, the ending argument, which is very well done. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. It really is. The pacing is terrific. It's so intense. It's exciting. The music is great. I think the acting is great. Or well, actually, apart from one person, can't remember the character's name, but the blonde-haired woman, her acting wasn't very good. And you know, one of the characters died a bit too early. But the biggest criticism I had was Courtney. Why the hell was Courtney in the episode? I'm sorry, but you know, I just thought she was completely unnecessary. Added nothing to the main plot. No, you know, no sense of drama or tension. You know, she was just tacked on, and you know, she kept changing her mind all the time. Like, "Oh, I want to go home. I'm bored." The next minute, "Oh, I want to help you, Doctor. I want to help." Make your mind up. You know, what the hell? Just Courtney was just so annoying. You know, it doesn't, you know, stop me from loving the episode. I can watch it and look past Courtney, but I mean, but yeah, no. Kill the Moon is definitely my favourite of the series, and you know, I mean, you want to hear my in-depth thoughts. If you want to hear more thoughts, then check out my review. But for me, it just had everything, and it is the pure Capaldi episode at the moment. For me, it's the best Capaldi episode at the moment. I mean, yeah, and you know what I thought of Last Christmas if you saw my review, and I did do a ranking of the Christmas specials, so there is that. But yeah, no, that is it. That is my ranking of Doctor Who Series 8, which is a good series. It's a very good series. To say it's Capaldi's first series is, you know, it's very good. I really like the darker tone. I think if we'd had another series of Matt Smith, we would have been more of the same. It would have been a bit darker, but it wouldn't have been as dark as it is now. I think Capaldi was a great Doctor. He is a great Doctor. I really hope he stays for as long as he can. If Moffat, I really hope that they don't make the Doctor a woman. It would be very hard for me to accept that. I'm sorry, but You know, have female villains, have female companions, have time ladies, but not the Doctor as a woman. No. I don't like the fact that the Master's a woman. It really is odd to me. I'm not... I mean, Michelle Gomez is a good actress, but I'm not adjusting to the idea in the way that some other people are. I know Parachute Walker really, really, really likes Michelle Gomez. I know 1135. They both absolutely love her, but I just can't. I don't know what it is, but I just can't get used to the idea. I don't think it works. I don't think it works. As for Clara, I think she's better than she is in Series 7, but I think there were points when it got irritating. She became a bit too domineering. I like, you know, she was like, "I'll do as you're told." I'm like, Clara, just, you know, I really like Danny Pink. He's a good character, and, you know, shame that he died. Yeah, I like the whole Promised Land mystery. That was handled well. It's one of the least complex story arcs that Moffat has thought of. There are times when it gets a bit full on, you know, with certain episodes, but yeah, no, I think this series is really good. And just to recap my list, it is number 11, In the Forest of the Night, number 10, Time Heist, number 9, The Flatline, number 8, Robot Sherbet, number 7, Dark Water / Death in Heaven, 6, Mummy on the Orient Express, 5, The Caretaker, 4, Listen, 3, Deep Breath, 2, Into the Dalek, and 1, Kill the Moon. So, that is it. That is my ranking of Doctor Who Series 8. So, hopefully, this will actually work in Movie Maker, and I can edit this and upload this, and then I can do my ranking of Series 1 to 8. Yes, all the way through, and that will have 9 slots, because I'm going to include the specials. You know, they've got their own box sets, so why not? But yeah, no, I've blabbed on long enough, so I will leave you guys to get on with your lives. So, thank you all for watching. So as I'm Mr. TARDIS11, see ya.